One of the biggest fears I know that you can have is to have your entire season just blown because you draft the wrong wide receiver. If you want to ensure that you can get your wide receiver studs, then this video is for you. Let's get it. Now, the first wide receiver we're going to get into is Michael Pittman Jr. Michael Pittman came on the scene last season and he started to perform with Carson Wentz at the helm. He started taking over the role as the #1 wide receiver and really producing week in and week out for your fantasy football teams. This year, I think he's going to take even a bigger leap forward with Matt Ryan to come to town. I think he's going to turn Matt Ryan's going to turn Michael Pittman into those older days of when you saw Julio Jones or Roddy White with the Falcons. I think Michael Pittman Jr. could be a stellar wide receiver 1 for your team, and if drafted right, you can even probably get him as your second wide receiver, as Michael Pittman's probably going to be going around in the 3rd round, maybe even 4th round of your drafts. So if you draft right, you might be able to land this guy, and I'm telling you, he could be an absolute stud for your fantasy football team this season. There's nobody opposite of him that's even going to be looking for targets. Who we talking about? Paris Campbell, maybe? I don't know. It's just going to be something that you can really look forward to week in and week out to get that production. He's not going to be able to have the safeties over the top because they have Jonathan Taylor, probably one of the best running backs in the NFL right now, that's sitting here running the ball for him. So they're not going to be able to cheat over. He's going to be able to beat those corners, hit him over. He's a nice big body receiver. He loves catching touchdowns, and I think Matt Ryan's going to out to prove that he's not washed yet. So he's going to be slinging the ball early and often to Michael Pittman. Make sure you get him on your fantasy teams this year, and I'm telling you, you won't be disappointed. So the second wide receiver that we're going to go over today is going to be none other than Mike Evans. Mike Evans is the #1 wide receiver for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and Tom Brady. Now, coming into the start of the season, Chris Godwin's probably not going to be able to start the season. They're going to have Russell Gage on the opposite side of him. Rob Gronkowski's done retired. They brought in, they have Cameron Brate there, and they also have Kyle Rudolph that they just added. So it's one of those things that if you're looking for Mike Evans, you're looking for touchdowns. Mike Evans catches touchdowns all the time. If he's able to give you the 12 or 1,300 yards receiving on top of the double-digit touchdowns that he's going to give you, he is going to be an absolute stud. Mike Evans right now going in the 2nd round, and just like the other guy that I was talking about earlier, Michael Pittman, you could draft a running back in the 1st round. You can grab Mike Evans in the 2nd round. You can grab Michael Pittman in the 3rd round. You just started out running back, wide receiver. Your team is looking dynamite. These are some of the tips that I can give you guys. I'm telling you, you won't be disappointed going with Mike Evans in 2022. Now, the 3rd wide receiver that I'm going to go over is none other than CeeDee Lamb. CeeDee Lamb plays for the Cowboys. He's somebody that's being drafted in the 2nd round right now, and I think he's going to kind of turn the table as far as being the stud. Now, Amari Cooper was sent over to the Browns, so he's no longer on the team. They have Michael Gallup, who's now hurt. He's probably not going to start the season. They drafted rookie Jalen Tolbert. They got James Washington from the Steelers. These are just kind of the receivers that he's going to be going against. CeeDee Lamb is the bona fide #1 wide receiver. There's nobody even close to him as far as talent goes in that wide receiver room. And I don't care about Gallup, but CeeDee Lamb is not even on the same atmosphere as Gallup, in my opinion. They do have Dalton Schultz at tight end, so they keep things honest. They have Ezekiel Elliott and Tony Pollard back in the backfield, so they're going to be keeping the safeties up tight. I think CeeDee Lamb's going to have a nice season. Dak Prescott's going to be slinging the ball all over the field. Dak Prescott's known to be throwing up 400 yards passing a game with ease multiple games in a row. And if he's going to be producing at a high level because he's out to prove a point this year, CeeDee Lamb is going to be the beneficiary of that. You're going to look at a lot of 100-yard games from CeeDee Lamb. You're probably going to see a lot of touchdowns from CeeDee Lamb. He's somebody that you can definitely say, hey, look, this guy's going to be a stud for my fantasy team in 2022. As always, thank you for watching the video. If you haven't hit the subscribe button, consider hitting that subscribe button. Would really help me out. Guys, we're putting out videos every single week going up into our fantasy football drafts. I'm going to try to help you dominate your fantasy football draft and dominate your fantasy football season so we can ultimately come home with a Lombardi trophy. Can't wait to see you guys on the next video. We'll see you guys next time.